what I need to do is get this thing into orbit. So we are at about 2.5 tons. I need to obviously enclose this in some kind of fairing. So let's do that. I think so. Yeah, the docking port can be used as an attachment point, so I don't need to put a decoupler on here. So let's go straight to a fairing. And I'm hoping, I think a 1.25 meter fairing should cover this. I'm hoping just to go straight up with this. That should be okay. Actually, I don't know why I did that. Delete that. Sorry. That was dumb. And then we're going to take this docking port. We're going to put it into our staging diagram. You can do that, right? Yes. Enable docking staging. And actually, ironically, disable the fairing staging. So the docking port will act now as a decoupler. And on the bottom of this, I want to put a vessel. And actually, sorry, I'm thinking while I'm doing this, which is always dangerous. I'm going to put a probe body on here. This is going to be the thing that's going to complete the circularization and get said vessel into orbit. So I'm going to put on, if I can all find the right, where are the small reaction wheels? That's what I'm looking for. There we go. And so that'll all get enclosed in the fairing. But this thing I wanted to have in around, do about the last 1,000 meters per second of the orbital insertion, and then maybe about another 70 to 100 meters per second to get it into its final orbit. Can I get away with a pug on the bottom of this? That's a little bit underpowered, so we're going to step it up to a Terrier. That's going to be fine. Arrange. Oh, they are arranged by mass. Pug. The torches. Okay, they're not arranged by mass. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, that's plenty of fuel. Maybe I can get away with a smaller tank. How about this one? About 1,100, a little bit more. That's too big. There's RCS fuel. I do have RCS fuel. What? Why didn't it oh my god, whatever. Everyone's seeing that. See, I do have monopropellant tanks. I thought I did. Why am I not seeing the one that's smaller than this one? Let's just go by name. That's the one I'm looking for. That's in the right ballpark, what I'm thinking about. To handle the upper part of the insertion and placing this thing, and then it'll deorbit itself at the same time too. So in and around, yeah, but I'd say that's pretty good. I'm going to put some batteries on it, just so that I don't have to worry about it running out of juice while it's on its way to its demise. But honestly, I'm thinking that's probably about the whole thing. We can color her up a bit. There we are. Yep, happy with that. Okay, I'm going to put some struts in here, because I'm a little bit concerned about using just simply that docking port as a connection. So I'm just going to strut this a little bit like that. All right, let's build the fairing. Okie doke. And is there an ejection force on this docking port? Just thinking, you know what? I think I'll disable this as well. Where's the staging? I'll disable that staging too. So that when we get ready to deploy this thing, we'll just simply right-click on that and undo it. All right, that's about it. So all I need to do now is, yeah, this thing will deorbit itself. And thrust TWR, this is one that's fine. And let me see. What's the mass? Mass is about now 5.5 tons. So let's get into my booster collection. Arrange these by mass. Now I don't need to get something that can lift as much as 5.5 tons because I only need to add on, let me think about this, 1,200. If this can get up and around 3,800 or so, I think I'll be fine. Like in total. Yeah. So how about if I use, what is this Skipper? Oh, that's my Skipper 1 booster. I've used that before. That's a little much. We'll have to fix that. What'd I say? 38? That's too much. I don't need that much. So what's my next one down? The swivel. That's a little on the light side. I also think it probably has too little thrust on that middle stage. Yeah, it does. Okay, so I might need to go with the other one just because it doesn't. The swivel one doesn't have the oomph. Well, this one would have more. Oh, let's delete the fairing just for now. That's all nonsense. This might be better. This one doesn't have the delta V. Okay. So it's going to be the swivel 1 boost. Oh, wait, no. Sorry, the Skipper 1 booster. This guy. It's a little too much, but that's okay. Let's delete this fairing. Let's get rid of all of these struts. They're unnecessary. These reaction wheels are not necessary. I can clean this up. I need just some sort of, actually, maybe the fairing's not a bad idea. Now I'm thinking about it, maybe that fairing wasn't. Let's put the fairing back. Control Z. Can I get it back? Yeah. Build the fairing and just kind of do this. And take it off the staging. So we won't stage it. And so the idea with that fairing is simply it's kind of like a cowling just to kind of clean that part up a bit. We can make it dark. I'm sure it'll look better dark. Is there not like a nice dark one? We'll go with that, I guess. Fine. Be that way. Fine. Okay. But this has the thrust. I think this is looking like a thing. It's got a lot of delta V. There's not going to be a problem on that end. In fact, I might just remove some of it. We'll start from the bottom here. Let's empty that tank. There. 4,300 meters per second total. That should be plenty. Mass and lift. Where's the mass? Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to tweak the thrust to weight for that launch. There we go. Slap on, John says, slap on some Starlinks and call it a day. You just got to drop, I don't know, 50 of them at a time or something. That's all you got to do. I don't know what this message is. I'm going to get rid of it. Okay. Let's go through the checklist and make sure I have not missed anything. So, I suppose... Oh, there's a station one I have. Oh, but I've never, ever... Okay, so I'm going to get rid of our checklist. Well, now let's go back to... I do have a station... I've never adjusted the station checklist. It's the So I've gone over the fine print, I think. Let's just make sure the fine print, that's always good to look at. So you got to orbit Kerbin, got to be below 250 kilometers. I'll do that. You got to have a docking ports on it. You got to have 4 Kerbals. I don't think there are any Kerbals in here right now. They're stuck. Get out of there, you guys. Jeepers. Bring you up separate. But it will support 4 Kerbals when we're all said and done. Should be able to have solar panels. It's optional is the cupula module and the mobile processing lab, neither of which I am anywhere near unlocking, so it'll go up without those. And then putting our Kerbal up for 30 days means put a Kerbal up for 30 days. I like these ones where the title is the same as the fine print. And docking, just dock. Nothing else to it. Okay, so fine print's okay. Control should be good. KOS is on there. Probe body has been oh wait, no it hasn't. Probe body has not been configured. There is a couple of probe bodies in here that don't require any science at all. It's not a big deal if you end up putting unnecessary science, but I mean it does save you money and a bit of mass to take it out. Whoops. Back you go. And there was one up in here too. So I might as well configure uncrewed experiments. I don't want it to do anything because we've got all of this stuff in and around Kerbin. Okay. Good, good. Science has been taken care of. Power generation, electrical storage, antenna strength, spin of speed, data storage. Propulsion, yep, is fine. RCS is irrelevant. Parachutes are irrelevant. Thermal protection are irrelevant. Lights are on there. Upgrades, I don't think it's necessary. Thrust to weight's been dealt with. Fairing deploy, no, I have not dealt with it. Let's get into the action groups. Dunka. So with my launch script, I want this on action group number 5. I also want this to be 6-sided, step up the ejection force, and make it clamshell deploy. I noticed I lost my fairing down here. Fix that in just a little bit. Also on for action groups, on action group 0, we will toggle this antenna, and we'll toggle 1 pair of solar panels. That's it. Because there's no reason to deploy all of them until it's necessary. Everything else I think can just stay closed. Okay, let's rebuild this fairing. Really not much to it. There we go. Okay, so that was the fairing deploy. Staging, check your staging. That's all good. It's pretty simple, and that is it. The rocket looks sick, says Marabar. Okay, let's put this to the test. Let's put this to the test. So simulate onto the launch pad. Oh, that's, don't worry about that. Here, let's run the launch script. Okay, dude. And we're off. As I was saying, I like my stations to grow kind of organically. I never really have a plan. It's just as I need a module for something, I add it on there, and whatever form it ends up taking as it grows is the form that it will take. All right. The Wolf says deployable panels are breakable panels. That is true. I have lost control of things and crashed into panels. And yeah, it happens. But we have the ability to do repairs in space. This thing is only going into low orbit. And I have a lot of panels. So it's actually probably overdone a little bit. Yes, the contract, Reborn says he was pretty sure the contract said that those extras were optional, and he's absolutely right. So the laboratory and the cupula module are completely optional. So it just means I won't be getting as much money and rep, but I mean, here, let's look over here. I just want to show you where I'm at. I'm at 3,438,000 Kerb bucks. I think I'm good for funds. I don't think I have to worry about it. I still have a number of buildings at tier 2. I could probably upgrade most of them now, but whatever. I find there's such a big jump with the buildings between tier 1 and tier 2, especially for things like the launch pad and the VAB and the spaceplane hangar. I mean, you want to get those to like tier 2 pretty quickly, and then once I'm at tier 2, I find, you know what, I'm pretty good. I don't need to do too much after that. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. John says, click the contract now because it will show things that are, whether they're green or not. So if I go to launch my space station, lots of things are green, but you can see the support, it doesn't have the 4 Kerbals aboard, or space for 4 Kerbals. I'm assuming support for Kerbals means it needs space for 4 Kerbals. But these here, see, are optional. So, we are good. Yep. All right, how are we doing here? How's our insertion going? I should be actually paying some attention. We have cut our throttle. And, oh, that all deployed very nicely. I don't think anything broke. Of course, the crash simulator's adding in all of the wireframey stuff. It won't look like that when it launches for real. All right, where are we at? We're almost at 80 kilometers. Oh, I just realized as well, that is not good. So I want to take out another 300 meters per second out of this tank. Because I want this tank to go dry. There's still a ton of delta V left in this thing. So I'm going to take out 350 meters per second out of this lower stage because I want this to go dry before engine cutout. So here's what we're going to terminate the simulation. We're going to fix that and then we're going to launch it. So I said 350 meters per second. So I want this stage. Where is it here? This stage here, I want it down to, let's say 2,900. Maybe a little more than that. Right? I'm subtracting, right? Didn't I say 300? Did I say 300 or 350? 350. 2,900. Maybe a little more than that. Yeah, that's right. So let's take out fuel here. So 2,900. What happens if I just take that right out? That's too little. That should be good. And of course that means that we got to adjust the thrust to weight because the whole thing's lighter now. There we go. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to launch this thing for real. Testing time is done. So we're going to save. And we're going to launch. And yes, I am sure. Nope, we're not going to load. That has to do with a tourist contract that I'm not going to worry about. Not at this stage anyway. So run that launch script. 0, comma. Actually, let's get up to 250. I mean, not 250. I'm sorry, 120 kilometers, and then end. Because that's our orbit that we're shooting for. So used to going to an 80 kilometer parking orbit, but we might as well go right to our final orbit here. Alright, so this one's for real. But no Kerbals aboard, so should be good. You can watch. There. Everything. What's this message up here? Some strategy availability changed. What's that about? I don't know. Not sure what happened. Oh, I might have. I think what I might have happened. I don't know. No, I don't know what happened. Why all of a sudden I've got new strategies, I don't know. Okay. Flies well, though. I think this is going to be... one of the things I definitely want to start unlocking are bigger tanks. These are still my largest 2.5 meter tanks, are these ones. So I definitely want to start building bigger things. This is still not really big by any stretch of the imagination. Dvorn says, but Dvorn says that the strategy changes from selecting other strategies that block certain ones, but I didn't think that notification was there a few minutes ago, so I don't know. All right, we've nerfed our thrust. Building up towards apoapsis. And again, we're going to go up to an apoapsis of 120 kilometers now because that's my orbit. 120 kilometers is below the first radiation belt. If you're going to play with Kerbalism, you're going to put up space stations. You definitely want to make sure you do not put your space stations into the radiation belts. I mean, unless you're into that sort of thing. But I wouldn't recommend it. And if they're below the radiation belts, you don't really have to worry about shielding or anything like that. You do have to worry about shielding and stuff once you start putting stations around the moon and around Minmus because they don't have any form of radiation belt or any kind of real magnetic field. Is it Freak's Hut? I think so. Freak's Hut says, how did this whole command prompt thing work? This is a mod called Kerbal Operating System. It's a mod that allows you to write programs within the game. And so you end up writing scripts that you can then run from this terminal window. So I've got my launch script that I wrote over a period of a number of years that does the launches for me, which I'm really happy with. I use it a lot for repetitive tasks that I just do all the time over and over and over again. There we go. That's what I wanted to see happen before, was to lose that booster. And just do the work on this little guy. I also have another script that executes maneuvers for me, because that's something else that comes up a lot. All right, where are we at? 100 kilometers on our apoapsis. Again, once that hits 120, we're almost in space. That's, we've done that. And once we're in space, it's going to create a circularization node here. 166.3 meters per second to complete our orbital insertion. And there's still 995, so I severely overbuilt this thing, but that's okay. The lights didn't come on. I thought the lights would come on. It says the lights came on, but they didn't. Lights. There we go. Yeah, lots and lots of blinkiness. Okay, how far are we? We're still 4 minutes away from this burn, so let's get up there. Time warp a little more. I'm curious, I don't know how much I'm going to play with this. What's our inclination at? Inclination is 0.1 degree. Should I worry about that? Nah, I don't know. Maybe. I'm very close to where the equatorial ascending node is, so I can fix it. Okay, just about to do our final circularization. There we go. And we are going to be getting our Kerbals up here too before this day is out. So I don't need to design that ship. That ship is already built. I just need to modify it just a little bit. Okay, so let's see how it does. Close enough, 120 by 120. And program has ended. And I think what I'm going to do, I am 1 minute, just over 2 minutes away from the equatorial ascending node here. So what I want to do, I'm going to tweak this thrust way down. Let's put this out of the way. I'm going to get to the equatorial ascending node. I'm just going to zero out my inclination. It's at a 0.1 degrees. We can't abide by that. So we're going to put this anti-normal. And then we'll detach this fella and we'll deorbit it. And then we'll bring our Kerbals up. Okay. Just about at the equatorial. So I'm just going to zero out this inclination. Because I was so close, figured I might as well. Need more thrust. Come on, inclination. There it goes. A little more. There. So our inclination's now 0.0. We'll take our script. Should be able to run our alignment script to align up our solar panels. And otherwise, I think this fella is looking pretty good. It's just turning the panels so they're perpendicular to the ecliptic so that they'll always remain. That looks good. Okay. And yeah, I'd say that's it. So let's take this. We're going to delete that. We're going to close this. Oh, and John was talking about solar panel, that the solar panels might occlude each other. And a solution, though I don't need it now because I don't have these other panels up, but just to show people the solution, I got a mod installed called Persistent Rotation. And if I open up these little settings here, you can turn the reference body. How do we do this? Dynamic? Relative rotation, and you can turn the reference body to the sun. Might as well do it now. I think I just did it right. Activate? I remember running into this before. There we go. Okay, it's activated. So now the reference is to the sun, and this thing should keep its current orientation with the sun now. It should. Whether it will or not, I hope it does. But because now if I extended these solar panels, they'd all be more or less perpendicular to the sun, I shouldn't run into panel occultation. All right, what we're going to do, though, with all that done, is we're going to decouple this. Oh, that was a little more violent than I would have liked. And we're going to put you onto the retrograde vector. Put up that thrust limiter. Let's just put away a little bit. So this fella can deorbit. Oh my god, it's got quite a lot of fuel still. Oh well, whatever. Whatever. Easy enough to bring up more fuel. Okay, and just want to take... Oh, what? Whoa, whoa, what the heck happened there? Well, all right then. That's going to give our Kerbal something to do. Why on earth that just happened, I don't know. Actually, everything looks a little bit borked down here. Oh, shoot. I don't know why that happened. That looks like a Kraken attack. Look, these batteries rotated. Okay, I'm going to take this. I am blaming you. I am. Unset. I am blaming, I don't know exactly how, but I got me a feeling Persistent Rotation thought it would be a giggle to take all of these batteries and rotate them, and that kicked off a couple of the solar panels. Oh well. Who builds these things?